My name is Lieutenant Commander Steve Banfield, and I'm the commanding officer of HMS Severn. HMS Severn is one of 3 river-class offshore patrol vessels. We are usually based in the UK conducting fishery protection operations, but we are now deployed to the Caribbean for 8 months. We've been here for 2 months. We've already visited 13 different countries and conducted training and exercising with the Bahamian Coast Guard, the Barbados Coast Guard, the Turks and Caicos Fisheries Department, and we'll be in the Caribbean until July this year. And the reason we're here is to conduct reassurance for the UK overseas territories and also counter-narcotics operations. What does that entail? We conduct visits such as at this one to Montserrat, where we'll be training with your local fire brigade, the marine police. We will be conducting patrols of the island, and we'll also be conducting a disaster relief exercise. We are deployed outside of the core hurricane season, so hopefully we won't have a hurricane while we're here, but disasters do happen all year round, and HMS Severn will be on hand to provide assistance. My ship weighs in at 1,800 tonnes, is 80 metres long. I have a ship's company of 35. We're capable of 21 knots, and we have a range of 15,000 miles, so we're very economical with our 2 diesel engines. Some people say that because I only have 35 people, I may not be as useful as slightly bigger ships. However, I come with very different capacity. I have all the emergency relief stores that a frigate would come with, but also, as you will have walked around the ship, you will have seen I have 2 quite large cranes which I can offload stores ashore if required. I can send my specialist teams ashore. I have engineers, logisticians and specialist medical teams who I can send ashore. Also, we're not a high-end warfighting unit. If the Navy ever went to war, I would not go to war with the Navy in this ship, because we do what we call constabulary operations, and that means that I'm very good at patrolling and conducting what we call maritime security operations, so keeping the waters of the Caribbean safe, and in particular areas around the UK overseas territories.
Is it the first time that HMS Severn is coming into the region?
Yes, it is. It's the first time HMS Severn, and indeed one of these classes of ships, has ever come into the region to conduct what we call Atlantic Patrol Task North. It has been a challenge to get here, and we've had to think of new and innovative ways of operating our ship. But it is a privilege to be the first of class ship. We've been in theatre for 2 months, and I think we've proved that we have what it takes to be useful, reassuring, and to achieve mission success while we are in the area. We are a patrol vessel, and we very much look and feel like a lot of the vessels and that forces in the region have, so that when we conduct training, the teams come on board and they can visualise what their ships look like as well. So it's what I call parity of training. Our expertise in fishery protection, fishing industry is very large in the area, and some areas do have significant problems with fisheries infringements. So we've been doing training with fisheries departments in the Turks and Caicos, and most recently with the Anguillan Fisheries Department. We've had them on board showing how we do our trade back in the UK, to hopefully better make them more able to interdict illegal fishing.
Okay, I know that you will be working along with the Defence Force, the police. Will you incorporate the Fisheries Division here as well?
I hope so. If we can, we will do that. But also on top of that, while we're here, we're going to do a lot of engineering training to make sure that the MV Shamrock can remain at sea, and also some patrolling as well, just to show how we conduct our operations. And whilst all of it will never transfer across, we may be able to share some ideas, and we can provide potentially good ideas to the Montserrat Police, Montserrat Defence Force, but also, and it's happened already, gain some good ideas from them on how they do their business to help us be more successful in the Caribbean.
I also know that you'll be conducting an exercise. While we are not privy to the exercise scenario, what do you hope to achieve in terms of your assistance to the island?
What I hope to achieve is threefold, really. One is a very good training for my team. It is a good run out for the team. We've practiced this a lot back in the UK, but it's always very good to practice it on the ground. On top of that, I hope to be able to make this ship useful to the island of Montserrat if in the unfortunate event there is a disaster, so that if we do come back, we have all the connections made, we have all the radio frequencies, and we can then slot seamlessly in and provide assistance where it's best needed.
In terms of your capacity and what you'll be able to give in terms of assistance in disaster scenario, what do you have? And what does this ship possess in terms of manpower and supplies?
In terms of manpower, I can land up to 20 personnel, but I will always land specialist personnel, so I have a full medical suite on board with a fully qualified doctor and a fully qualified paramedic. I have engineers, both communication engineers and mechanical engineers, who can go ashore and provide assistance. I also come with about 25 tons of emergency relief stores. That ranges everything from emergency medical gear through to quite large generators that can be put ashore if power is needed. I have chainsaws, I have wiring, so I can do a vast array of things ashore. My main focus when I get ashore will be to assist the authorities in identifying what has occurred and what needs doing and which areas have been most heavily hit. And then we will seamlessly move into the phase where we can provide targeted assistance ashore.
Okay, Dwight Sampson from the Montserrat Reporter. Welcome to Montserrat,
Thank you
Captain, and your team. I just have one particular question. You mentioned earlier when we were doing the tour that you'll be doing some work in the exclusive zone.
Yeah.
Right? What exactly is the purpose for that mission work in the exclusive zone?
It's designed really for both the ship and the local police force to gain what we call patterns of life. We can provide a solid platform with which to spend some time in the exclusion zone to see what activity is going on, especially at night. Because we are a larger ship, we can sustain people overnight. We can go down there and spend a good 12 hours in the area and actually see what activity is going on. Now, admittedly, it will only ever be a short snapshot of what is going on, but will provide some information as to activity, potentially legal or illegal, that goes on in the exclusion zone, most importantly after dark.
Okay. And you also mentioned that you'll be working with the authorities here. Do you have the specific bodies that you'll be working with?
We'll be working with the Montserrat Police Force, mainly the Marine Division, and also the Defence Force. We have the Fire Service coming on as well. For the Fire Service, the specific thing is conducting firefighting at sea in what is a very strange environment, conducting firefighting on a ship. It is significantly different to fighting a fire ashore, and with the cruise liner industry, more and more cruise liners coming to Montserrat, one hopes they never catch fire, but if they are required and the Montserrat Fire Service have to go on board a ship to conduct firefighting, hopefully their time with us will have shown the intricacies and the dangers of conducting firefighting at sea.
There are 2 Barbadians on board
Yes.
doing some training. Could you give some light into what exactly the training is and the purpose?
We have one officer and one engineer on board, and the reason we brought them on board really is to show how the Royal Navy works. I would never claim that the Royal Navy has the answer to everything, but because, as I said previously, we very much look and feel like their patrol ships, they can come on board and see how we navigate, see how we operate, see how we do engineering support and engineering maintenance on board. And hopefully from that they may be able to take a few things away back to the Barbados Coast Guard that may assist them in the future. And indeed I've learned several things off the Barbados Coast Guard officer who's been on board that I will be using whilst I'm conducting operations in the Caribbean.
Commander Banfield, you spoke earlier about security, assisting the local authorities with security. We are very much aware that our borders are porous, for want of a better word, where we have people coming in, going out and so on. That is something that we are aware of. In terms of your assistance and recommendation, what are some of the things that you would hope to impart in terms of the security aspects?
I think the 2 areas that I really can impart, and probably the most important is surveillance. In order to determine what is going on in one's borders, you need to know what's going on at sea. And a thing that a lot of people forget is the sea is a very big place. So what we can provide is to show how the Royal Navy provide what we call a recognised maritime picture. So we go to sea and we build up patterns of life, what is going on, there are various trends. And it's just to show, to be able to take the authorities to sea and show them that, but also to show how we do it, how we record it, and then how we use that intelligence in order to come up with an actionable plan based on how many resources you have available. So it really is that, it's that how to build the surveillance of the area as best such that the assets that are available can interdict illegal activity.
And while we're on that topic of drug interdiction, I know that you've been working along with the Coast Guards, the RSS. What have you been doing in terms of? I know it's a very typical area in the region, and you would not want to release too much information. But in terms of your activities working along with these bodies, how has it been going so far?
It's been going well thus far. It's been quite quiet because the first stage of my deployment has been very much to visit all of the islands and conduct the training that we've just recently talked about. Fairly shortly I will be embarking a law enforcement detachment on board, and that is where we go into the full counter-narcotics part of my deployment, where we'll be actively targeting illicit narcotics at sea. So what I've used the first time for is to build those relationships with the RSS, with the local forces, so that when I return with the law enforcement detachment that allow me to conduct counter-narcotics at sea, I have all those links available, and therefore we can build that picture up with every source possible in order to give my ship the best chance of conducting a successful interdiction at sea. In
terms of your connection with the governor's office, there might be areas where the governor's office feels that, you know, we need some more assistance. Is there that direct line of communication?
There is sort of a direct communication to the ship, as with any military force, or indeed anybody really. We all have our bosses, so any request that comes in, I will clear up my command chain. However, if it came to something specific and something long-standing, it would definitely go through the Governor's office to the Ministry of Defence, who would then task me to conduct that. But the Governor's office and myself and my team on my ship have a very close working relationship. So that close working relationship allows us to speed up the process of, if there is a direct request, that we can tackle it from two sides, if you will, and then have a quick response, and then we will turn up.